Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're going to do a deep dive look in psychic medium reading about Princess Diana. So, you know, when we really look at Princess Diana, it really is hard. It really is a really, really hard story. It really is a sad story. It really pulls on the strings. It really is the heartstrings. And when you hear the heartstrings, you just can't sue her. You cannot sue her. So basically, let's look at the Literary Witches Oracle because she came in pretty hard in mediumship in one of the shows today. And we go, what was about this tunnel? What was about this car crash? As we look through it. Here we go. What do you want us to know? Everything was giving and everything was like owned already. OWNED. And everything must do and everything must like a BUE. And when she looks at BUA, you couldn't say what was actually coming through. But she couldn't say through. She said true. And then she said two. And she went you. And then went spell it. And she couldn't she got like pulled back like this. And she's like, I just can't. I and then all of a sudden I went, no, 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 no. You can't. No, you can't do this to me. And she went like haywire in her head and she walked right off. And she went way above like anything to the highest degree of like ownership. But she said, Don me. And when she went like that and she went to sue, it was about family. She was showing me family right through the cards. And like transformations, like these like facial expressions were so odd that it was an inward looking, like bizarre. And it was like justice. And you go, why is that justice? Like, it was like, are you intoxicated or something? Like, what did I just say? And when you see this, it was like a move on forward. So when I see this, it was about unknowns to knowings to devotion. I'm hearing that she really did not want the divorce. I'm hearing that he did not want the divorce either, but it had to happen. It had to happen. So when you look at it and you go, oh my God, everything was dark all of a sudden, like earlier than usual on the clock. And it was a mystery. She says, stop right there, stop right there. And then they looked at the community, which is normal. That's a proper protocol there when they have an odd behavior. Is it like mediumship? Is it like ghosting? Is it earthbound spirits? Is it entities? Is it, I mean, these, these walls, they would say, would look inward and be about. So then they have to look into like historical records on something like Anastasia Romanoff, and then you would have to see like collusion and what was going on in Russia and other palaces at the time, because you just couldn't even sue. So when you actually like look at everything on the way of the highest of known, you can't see it through. So when you see it through, you can't even like boo you. And it goes BU. They're showing me BUE. BUE. Now let's look at the tarot. She's saying like she's done this before. Absolutely done this before. And when I look at it, I go, oh my God, I want to cry. I want to cry because I've like been through it here at the house where you're sitting there and you're having like a pencil and they move you. They move your hand. They're like, oh my God, it's like a poltergeist in here. So what else do you need to see? What else do you, there was about securement. So I would have to say like everything. And then she's like moving me quick. Queen of Wands. Everyone sat fine. Then all of a sudden, everyone had to cross their right leg over to their left. and then tap their foot, and they would have to count. And everyone's like, no, 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 no. Like, you had to, like, move on. Okay. So basically what you need to know is that we already knew. We already knew. And when they would spell it, it was N-E-W. Lenormand. What else do we need to know? Here it is. Right in the middle of the deck. So I'm seeing the Queen of Clubs and I'm seeing Snake. It was like a Revolutionary War at that time. When you see this and you see the 5 of this deck, it's right here, this number with this tree, I see 5 clans, but really it was 5 gangs. White Sage Tarot. She was inward and outward. She would get like pale white. She wasn't always good. She tried to keep up with like appearances as being a single mother and going about and having a new relationship. Like I said, 7 of Cups, like we saw before, it looks like options, large options, especially for someone who could keep their entitlement. It was not going to end well. It was not going to end well. It was not foreseen. It was not foretold. It was not anything to like knocks on the door. And the way they would knock on the door was tap, 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 tap. To almost where you see in the mafia pictures where they're like showing the middle finger. Animal Spirit Oracle. She's showing me the gold ring. She's showing me like palm tree leaves on the ground. She's seeing the sand. And then she like went away. She's like, oh, like that's all you need to know is a gold ring with palm trees and sand, and that's all you need to know. It is like a marriage. It was a marriage. It was a marriage that you couldn't even get out. So when you look at it, and I go, holy cow, you can't even do it. You can't even do it. Like at all. Like the way that it was, you could see this. It was like oddities. So when I see zebra, it's oddities. So hard. And then it's locked when I see the golden egg. That oddity. And then something small comes in with like frequency and hertz and vibrations. And then all of a sudden, it's something that is like old and known, like a rusty car. And when I see this, like it comes in the middle of the night like this bat in dreams. And when you see this and you see the vulture, you go, is something near the garbage or something like that? Or is like something happened? And then they go on a cruise and they see like everything that's in the ocean. Everything is fine. It really is. You just go about. It's just normal to see these like high ends. But when you sit outside and you see the fireflies, you go reminiscing. And then all of a sudden it's springtime and you see the bees and everyone's pollinating. And you're like, where did that come from? You go, that is how strong it is. Like, I didn't mean to say that. Why did I say that? And that is how it is. Like, who put words in my mouth? Now, when I look at it and I see unicorn, it is rarity down to like steak to a type of prime rib. And when I see the panther, I go, it really is crawling like a pub crawl. But when I see the alligator, I see Peter Pan. So let's actually talk about Peter Pan and Princess Diana. Here we go. Peter Pan and Princess Diana. The reason why Peter Pan comes up is literally like how important Nana was. Literally. Nana was the dog, from what I remember. I haven't seen the movie in a really long time. But when I'm seeing the dog, there was something about Newfoundlands. And Newfoundlands literally are like nanny dogs. And they sit there and they watch and they herd and they rear. They do alleviate struggle, that dog, but I'm seeing like flying high like a kite and like Lost Boys Island. And then when you see it come on through, they're like, is this something like Epstein or anything like that with the island and the issues? But it's something like a growth with Peter Pan and the Newfoundland and the way that Princess Diana is coming in. So when I see this and I go, it's a type of whirlwind that makes you stop. And then you sit and you have like happy family memories and friendship memories. And then all of a sudden you're like, I thought I heard that. And then you go, I was sitting there and I was absolutely fine, but all of a sudden I'm a little agitated. That is the way that it was she's portraying with her energy still. Like everything was grand and stoic, but she's showing me like almost like a form of like fire burning fibromyalgia, where it was almost like a Raynaud's. And when it came through, she would sit down and she would almost look unpresentable because she couldn't sit well. So at the end, like she was like running to the bathroom. She's showing me like her urine was not well, like brown, but it was yellow and it was like concentrated, but she was hydrated. So when I see this and I see the Hierophant, I see like something actually chasing them in that tunnel. Highly sourceful and highly dictative partnership. Now, when I see this and I see the Five of Swords, I hear it's a wrap, like a chicken wrap. Unfulfilled wishes. To the Nine of Cups, like happy and strong. I'm seeing like a cafe like Ireland and France, like sitting hot chocolate and coffee. And then when you see this, you just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. Right there, they blew smoke in my face. So Starseed Oracle. So, during that time, I would have been, like watching cartoons and just going about and playing. But everything was like solid. Like you just like, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling my friends and I'm going over. It wasn't a big deal. Everything was secure. But there was something like embrace your weirdness, face your true north. Like quirks came out. I hear, blah, blah, blah. And I hear, no, 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 no. And then I hear, boop, 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 boop. like you're playing with little kids, like toddlers, but they were like 15 to 16 years old. So when I see Pleiades energy, visionary, and like all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it right now. That's what I'm hearing. Don't run with it in the current day. Don't run with it. What is it? Identify the it. So when I see it and I see Andromedan energy, adventure, say yes to change. Man, oh man, during the 90s, it was grandiose to just go with it. It was almost too gold-like, to the gold finger of Austin Powers. So when I look at it and I see Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict, like they wanted to get out and like explore and be their true selves. And it was way out there. But in reality, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led, it wasn't always best. BEE. All of a sudden, like they couldn't spell. Like they were writing and it was a shorthanded. And when I see it, seeing potential, bring it unconscious, like they would have dreams and say, this is what actually came to me. So I see this and I see devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. When they walked, they talked about. All right. Hangman, the pauses, literally, you can't even do it at all. When you see the Queen of Cups in reverse, there's no like attunement to attainment, to the time test, the hearing, because it's so remnant of like a busting valve, like a pipe bursting, and you're like, am I on the Titanic? Did they snuff me out again, like the Astors? That you can't even say, you can't talk like that whatsoever. So when I look at it and I say the Five of Wands, it really is like a short snuff. But really it was like this fibromyalgia, this burning where she couldn't sit right at all. And then the concentrated smell of the urine. But it was clear. You're like, where is it? It was almost like a Santeria, like the issues that we are having out here in Connecticut, that you say, like, are you sure? Because I'm just not well. And then you look at the tone of their like cheeks and like they're swollen. They're like, who's throwing it at you? So when I look at it and I go, the Nine of Swords goes to the highest point of known. You can't be it at all. Nine of Swords literally means you just cry. You just cry when it happens. Because they're like, I swear I was paying attention. And that's how it was feeling. The whole world was that I was paying attention. It was odd. The Four of Cups, like you try to offer them everything, but you can't even do the weakness. The weakness is all about. So when you do it and you talk about it in your own way, because it's not illegal to use all forms of communication, you go, here it is. Let's look at through the crystal quartz. What do they need to know about Princess Diana? She is talking about a Gary. She's talking about a car. She's talking about, it was so simple of a car when they would drive around, but they would be able to get it out. It's like certain times of the day, normal, very normal in heritage and culture in a state, in royal family. There's just certain days and certain times like you're allowed to speak freely because you're always in the public eye. and in the ear. Always remember that everywhere is a court of law. So when I look at it and I go, this Pleiadian oracle goes, I don't think it was off world or out of this world. I think it was right here. It was odd. There's something about actual like infrared technology of visiting sites of wreckage, she would call it, and like taking a chance. Every time she had a window of opportunity, she was really, really good at paying attention to her dreams and like saying, I'm going to travel at these dates. And creative, highly creative. And then all of a sudden you're like, I can't even like remember what had happened. And they sit there like, no. It's like they locked it down so hard after they were like, nope. The vibration to the heart when it all happens, especially like something like New York or even a small town community, when they can't figure it out, everything is radio, everything is CB, everything is interceptor. Like you hear everything and anything and something and nothing, to the point where they know the habits of the town. Transmission. It has something to do with transmission on a 1339. The coughing was odd. Like spatial affect at times. I see him, and even in meetings where she goes, don't even say it out loud, him, he'd go like this. And the kids would be like all around like this, like enjoying life to music. It was like put on the music, put on at that time whatever the computer was, and just play around. Play around. Here it is. It was a continuance on of like a court case that was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, over 30 years. And when I see this and I see Archangel Raphael, like you go to church and you could pick up on like what you needed from the sermon and the service, but there really wasn't forceful energy, and it really was not opposing of two worlds, of like two viewpoints or aspects when it would happen. But there was no flow of travel during the time of these court cases that she was surrounding. When you see this and I see the lookout, I mean, that's normal during that time. It is something about growing in a dog and a presumptive measure. When I hear spring and autumn, it is fall, but it really was in the spring of 1991. When you look at this and you see the views of the Ingo, it's almost like Snow White. Don't look in the mirror. Don't eat the apple. Like retirements were absolutely fine. It had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with extramarital affair or like wishes and wants and like exploring senses. It was like a must, like you're getting divorced. And then it went to, that's not what we wanted. That's not what we planned. And who walked into our marriage? And when you see it and you see the Ark of the Covenant, you say, it's like almost a point blank, like look at the safes and look at everything. Like, is there a thief in here? And you look at it and you see the Archangel Gabriel, no messages. There was like no epiphanies whatsoever. It came, they would say come out of the, but it came out of the point blank range. Like there was something of like energy of a Revolutionary War. I do see 2 dragoons. I do see 2 pointsmen. I do see 3 heightsmen, and I see through like 3 to 34 huntsmen. I do see a cottage. I do see a woods. It's old. It's like 1726 to 1756, right on the outskirts of Ireland and Wales. It's odd, like an air crescent moon. Okay. Knife. She's showing me King Arthur. She's making me do this. And like go to the hunting party. Because you're going to be like solid. You're going to be solid when you go there. You're going to have fun. And then you're going to go in the car and you're just going to be absolutely fun and fine. And just it's going to give you like the power and the energy that you needed. And that's how they used to talk in 1991, 1992. Just go, like it's absolutely good. And they sit there and they do this, and they do this, and they do this. And then they go, I already know. So then it goes to like living, and they're like, no, I'm just cracking my back. Joy, trolling. She's showing me that stone wheel again. There's something in here in the last 3 episodes of certain things that I want to talk about this stone wheel. Like the rolling stone gathers no moss. That literally means like a cocaine addict cannot gather, gain, or like gain a trust. Different spellings because their trust is like TRUS and their trellis is the emblem on their arm. So whatever they have a tattoo is, it's just straight on out. It's just right there. It is a hidden game of a collection. So it's so old that they talked about it, that they made their own like illegal substances since since the beginning of time to have an altered sense of ego. But I'm not seeing anything drug induced at the night of the accident. I'm seeing like 3 to 4 months prior, in the month of March and April, there was higher intake of illegal substances. All right, here we go. Almost like way through this whole like deck. What do we need to know about how this happened to the current date and time so we can understand it? She likes the middle of the deck. Wishes. There's something about wishes. I see like a play on 2 words, like a rest. They need rest and they need an arrest. There is like money offered, opportunity on the table, but then there's like no job offers. But then if they do put in their application, it's fine. It's like a trolley. I see this and like you're not supposed to see it. It's blindfold. You can't even believe it. And you go, there was no like apprenticeship or teamwork, like you just started doing it. It was easy. You picked up on it. There's no skill in it. And she goes, what are you talking about? I hear that like in 1992 in September, like they talked about like skilled work, like healthcare, all forms of like what we know today as society and industry. And they're happy because they have to have securements. There's no like absolute judgment, but I'm saying like there's some who like I want to be a nurse, and in the royal family there was some like changes, like I want to do these community works a little bit and like get out and do what I was supposed to be doing, which is really it really is not bad. It's part of community service in royal life, but it looks like inhibitions, like they're almost intoxicated. I'm seeing almost like a fortress. I'm seeing almost like a block. I'm seeing almost something of to that nature where you just couldn't do it. It's like the energy was almost too much beyond the walls. It only happened for about a year. It's usually not normal. Was it something from past life that actually kicked up? She showed me yes and no, and go outside and you'll just know it. You'll just know, which is true. Which is true. At least out here in Connecticut, where I live in Ashford, it is highly Revolutionary War here. It's a very haunted land. It's Native American land. So certain times of year and certain times of the night, depending on the season, you're going to have like a paranormal activity to hard energy towards you. Here it is. There it is. Caught it. Again, no steel. So let's go back to the current day in time where we had the issue with the steel plant explosion, and then we have the plane crash. You know, when we had it, it really was like true, a TRU, and I want to go, there's something about divorce. It is a partnership. It was a contract. It is an actual like marriage between two people. There's talk about one child, a boy, but it was none, NUN, where you couldn't complete any, like there was no luck or instinct, like everything was a burnout of a drive. So when I see it, like they actually have a hard time moving on. There was something about this, they really have a hard time moving on. It is in relation to Princess Diana. It really is. When you see the Queen of Wands, again, they're like not sitting well. Because they lost money. There was like loss of jobs and like during this whole thing. And it's weak. So when I'm looking at it and I'm looking at Charles, and I don't know why I'm hearing Philip, Gary, Carrie, Dune, Dwan, Day. And they're like, lock it down. Nope. When you look at this, it just goes, it's just a funny ray. It's just a funny ray. It's okay to say on the lay of the day. And when you see it, you go, where is this going? Because I see the buttons on the table. I see a gold coin on the table. Is this like chocolate penny or something like that? Or is it pence? And then you go, I felt that inference really, really bad. And I'm not putting it out there that something would happen, but always remember that that's a measure of actual currency. So when I see it and I go, the Knight of Cups goes, mm-mm, mm-mm. You can't offer anything on the table, but when you loo them up, you can do it. It got to the point of like, they would call it like almost a hostile measure, but it really isn't. It really isn't. It really is like up to a duodenal ulcer, to where everyone's like, I have sores on my tongue. It feels like I had too much acid in my drinks. And they go, what is going on with this? And they go, but everything is happy. I'm just not well. And then all of a sudden, like, nobody wants to talk. It really was like a go on out. A go on out. Just go out and just have fun. Now, going to the poker cards, they would have had a game. She's leading me back right up to Boston Harbor. Think the tea, think the water, but think the run rail. Run rail. Okay, when you run rail in the current day and time, it's like when you drink Sunny D and you have red like Twizzler licorice and you run a race like a marathon, like a mile or maybe like a half a mile, and then you're done for the day. You literally like nail it down for the day. You're like, I'm good. And then they sit there, they're like, yeah, it was a run race of a Ray. That's all you need to know. It like everything was like a run race, like everything was a rat race all of a sudden. So when you see this like jack of spades right here, you have to look at the horse guard, and you have to look at how in Rome the Swiss guard is. Just look at old, look at the colors, look at the formation, and see how they're sitting and standing and how they're looking. So basically, if they would have like look like this, and then they go, they're usually really good with their energy and shutting it down without speaking. It really wasn't happening during that time. And that's what I'm seeing and hearing in mediumship. So with that being said, that's all that really has to get drawn out. I feel like it will come back at some point and we'll address it again. So if you have any questions or concerns, go ahead, leave a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated. An email is greatly appreciated as everyone's knocking on the door to end the night. But we will talk to you soon. Have a great night, everyone.